Hi friends, we are in the season of graduation. Denison's graduation was this past Saturday, Granville High School's graduation is May 29th, and my nephew just graduated from preschool last Friday. Graduation is a milestone, and it is good to celebrate with family and friends. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but I'd be willing to bet that our graduates will receive a card or a note with this verse on it. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. That's Jeremiah 29:11. Of course, graduates are not the only ones who need to hear about a future with hope. So I thought we'd spend some time reflecting on this verse. But first, let's set it in its larger context. Jeremiah prophesied in Jerusalem and Judah before and during the Babylonian exile, which started with the first deportation of Jews in 597 BC. A second deportation happened 10 years later when the city of Jerusalem was sacked and the temple was destroyed. Those who were taken into exile were the leading figures of Judah: the king, nobility, priests, artisans, and high-ranking military officials, leaving behind a nation bereft of the resources and leadership that it so desperately needed. Jeremiah recognized that Judah's hope for restoration lay in God's willingness and ability to return the exiles and rebuild the kingdom. In most of Jeremiah's prophecy, he addresses the people in Jerusalem and Judah. But in chapter 29, where we find this popular verse, he writes what is essentially a pastoral letter to the exiles in Babylon. In this letter, he names the reality of the situation, that this exile is going to last a long time. He says, don't listen to the prophets who are telling you that this will be over soon. Settle in for the long haul. Build houses, plant gardens, raise families, and pray for the peace of Babylon. Your good is interwoven with the good of the whole. He also encourages them with the hope and the promise for a future. Don't worry, he says essentially, God has your highest good in mind. Even this dark time has a purpose, and it's preparing you for the day in which you will return home. So this is Jeremiah chapter 29. I'll be reading verse 1 and then verses 4 through 14. These are the words of the letter that the prophet Jeremiah sent from Jerusalem to the remaining elders among the exiles, and to the priests, the prophets, and all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had taken into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. It said, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, do not let the prophets and the diviners who are among you deceive you, and do not listen to the dreams that they dream. For it is a lie that they are prophesying to you in my name. I did not send them, says the Lord. For thus says the Lord, only when Babylon's 70 years are completed will I visit you, and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. For surely I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with hope. Then when you call upon me and come and pray to me, I will hear you. When you search for me, you will find me. If you seek me with all your heart, I will let you find me, says the Lord. And I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, says the Lord. And I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. Thanks for listening today. We'll dive more deeply into this text tomorrow.